Before I start this video, I just wanted to provide a disclaimer that there are some strong images in this video, and this video has mature subject matter, so parental discretion is advised. So this is the first part of a multi-part series on animals after a disaster, or SHTF. I have wanted to start this series for a long time. In this series, I will take a deep dive into dealing with animals after SHTF. In full disclosure, I am not a wildlife biologist or professional hunting guide. However, I have spent over 15 years hunting, fishing, hiking, and camping in remote locations across the eastern United States, miles away from civilization, and thus I have accumulated a lot of knowledge and experience in dealing with and protecting myself from dangerous animals. In this video, I will give a high-level overview of the series, go over why you should be prepared to deal with animals after SHTF, and discuss some scenarios you may find yourself in. In the next part of the series, I will do a deep discussion on what type of animals are in your part of the country. I will go over attack statistics, behaviors, geographic ranges, and other important information related to various animal species. I will break down the analysis into two general categories, east of the Mississippi and west of the Mississippi. For the scope of this video series, I will not be covering poisonous snakes or insects, as that would require a lot more time. I will focus only on mammals and reptiles commonly encountered with teeth and/or claws that can cause you injury, death, or illness. So now let's get to the meat of this video. One thing I have noticed is that a lot of preppers focus heavily on the human threat after SHTF, and therefore all of their security preparations, gear, and training is geared towards dealing with human threats such as burglars, gangs, looters, marauders, and assorted psychopaths. However, a lot of preppers neglect to consider animal threats after a disaster or SHTF situation, which could be just as numerous to human threats, if not more numerous and potentially more dangerous. It is important to specifically equip yourself with the right gear and train properly to deal with dangerous animals. Also, it is important to understand the habits and habitats of many dangerous animals in your area. Security gear and training is needed to deal with human threats, and is often totally different than what is needed to handle dangerous animal threats. For example, you may have a Glock 9mm, which is great for handling an encounter with some simple looters, or an AR-15 for a group of marauders. However, these weapons may be extremely underpowered and inadequate for defending yourself and your family against dangerous animals. A 9mm or 223 round may do nothing more but agitate an angry bear, and semi-automatics may get jammed or malfunction in the middle of an attack where seconds count. Furthermore, animals have an assortment of advantages on their side that humans do not. Most of them have better senses of smell and hearing than we do. Most animals can also see better at night, while we need flashlights. They can detect our presence with their sense of smell, hearing, or vision long before we can detect them. Training to defend against animals is a totally different animal, no pun intended, than it is to train against humans. First of all, we can't communicate with animals except through body language, which greatly reduces our ability to de-escalate dangerous encounters like we can with people. With people, we can speak verbally and issue threats or commands, or negotiate in exchange for safety. Also, animals are oftentimes much more robustly built than the average human. Due to their wild existence, they were built to handle impacts, fights, and climatic extremes. They have thick layers of muscle, dense bones, and heavy fur coats, which act as natural body armor that allow them to absorb impacts, trauma, punctures, cuts, and gunshots. Human beings, in contrast, are generally domesticated, and thus we have much less natural protections. It is common for wild animals to fall from the top of a tree only to get up and run off without any injury, while a human being would be instantly paralyzed. Many popular cartridges and calibers used by preppers, like the 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson, 45 ACP, 223, 300 Blackout may simply be inadequate to provide proper penetration and tissue damage to stop an attacking animal. An important concept to know as well is that wild animals operate with extreme fight or flight instincts because their entire survival depends on it. In their day-to-day lives, they are constantly faced with life or death struggles, whereas we humans live in controlled environments with regulated temperatures and relative safety. Throughout the course of its life, a deer may need to escape from death thousands of times, and a bear or wolf or coyote may need to kill hundreds of times. When was the last time you had to escape from a life or death situation, or had to kill to survive? Wild animals operate on an all or nothing basis because their survival depends on it. Therefore, once they decide to attack, they may be totally numb to pain and get caught up in savage aggression, and they may shrug off multiple gunshots before dying. There have been cases of bears being shot 10 or more times with safari caliber rifles designed to stop charging rhinoceroses before they have died. So what makes you think your 9mm Glock will do anything to an animal like that? You may put multiple 9mm bullets into the animal while it is ripping you apart or trampling you. Also, most preppers and concealed carry holders do not hunt or spend time in the backcountry, are not familiar with the type of bullets needed to stop a dangerous animal, which is totally different than those needed to stop a human. Therefore, many preppers will be carrying inadequate bullets and cartridges that are geared towards stopping soft human threats. Typically, this is some type of hollow point or soft point bullet in a light, low recoiling caliber pistol like a 9mm or a light caliber rifle like a 223. Even more powerful deer hunting rifles and 12-gauge shotguns may be ineffective at stopping a wild animal bent on killing you or your family. Aside from inadequate firearms and weaponry, many preppers don't train to handle an encounter with a dangerous animal. Practicing to stop a dangerous animal is totally different than practicing to stop a dangerous human. As mentioned already, wild animals have better senses, are more robustly built, can become numb to pain, have an all-or-nothing fearless attitude, can't be communicated with or reasoned with, and can close distances extremely fast. Many animals are physically superior to human beings in terms of raw speed and strength. Therefore, they can close distances much faster than any human can. Aside from carrying inadequate firearms loaded with the wrong bullets, many preppers can't even carry a firearm in their location at all, due to stringent gun regulations. Some places don't even allow carrying a small pocket knife or have restrictions on carrying large fixed-blade knives, machetes, or other large edged weapons that could prove useful in deterring or fighting off an aggressive animal. Therefore, it is important to arm yourself with knowledge. You need to know what type of dangerous animals you may encounter after SHTF, their habits, their preferred habitat, how to know if they are present in an area, how to de-escalate an encounter, and how to defend yourself if you can't carry a firearm or you find yourself in a situation where your firearm is unavailable or it malfunctions. So why should you prepare to deal with animals after SHTF and give it equal, if not more, thought than dealing with humans? Well, think about it this way. Every year, thousands of people are killed and injured by wild animals in the United States alone. And this is during rule of law. When society collapses, animals will be more free to roam around and feel less threatened, as there will be less people going hiking or camping, and there will be less traffic on the roads. There won't be game wardens, park rangers, or animal control. Also, there will be a lot more refugees moving about, which will provoke the curiosity of many wild animals due to the sudden influx of human smells in their environment. Put yourself in the following scenarios. You work or live in a metropolitan area, and you just had word that there is a major disaster and you need to escape on foot. You grab your gear and you head out on foot, trying to escape as quickly as possible. You start making your way through a more lower income part of the city where people abuse their pets and there is a high population of stray dogs. You encounter a pack of stray dogs, or maybe even a single pit bull. What do? Can you shoot 10 dogs trying to surround you with your pistol in time to protect yourself? Have you trained to shoot accurately and quickly? Dogs make much smaller targets than humans. There is a much smaller margin of error, and the shots are at a different angle and are moving much quicker. What about even 1 or 2 pit bulls charging you at full speed? That's a pretty small target, and you may only be able to get off 1 or 2 shots before they close the distance. What if you miss? What if your gun jams? What if you can't carry any weapons at all? Scenario number 2. You are bugging out to your bug out location, which is in a very secluded area. You are loaded down with a heavy pack and need to cross through some very isolated areas of forest. All of the books and YouTube channels have told you that it's best to get away from the city and go far away into secluded areas where you will be safe from marauders. You think to yourself, man, I'm outsmarting everybody. There is nobody here. I have all of the food on my back, and another day or 2 of hiking and I will reach my paradise, my fully stocked bug out location. All of a sudden, you hear some rustling in the brush nearby, and then you hear a huffing noise. Oof, 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 oof. You look in the direction of the noises and see a massive bear 25 yards away staring right at you. What do? Finally, you are traveling on foot and suddenly you see a group of 5 to 10 coyotes surrounding you. Coyotes have been known to chase away bears from kills, and with enough numbers they can surely kill or seriously injure most adult male humans. Even 1 coyote can kill most human beings. How will you handle this situation? Have you trained properly? Are you mentally and physically equipped to handle these kind of scenarios? I predict that after SHTF there will be as many animal attacks on people as there will be human attacks on other humans. Many animals that have a predatory nature like coyotes, feral dogs, cougars, wolves, bears, will find that all of the refugees roaming about will be easy prey. After SHTF, animals will move closer towards people and go into areas closer to people as they will see diminished vehicle traffic. As cities and neighborhoods are abandoned, animals will fill the void. Don't believe me? Look at the abandoned sections of Detroit or St. Louis or other cities across the country. These cities are filled with roaming packs of feral dogs who have attacked and killed people passing through. When people leave their homes and towns, animals will come in and reclaim the land. They will be drawn to diminished human presence and the smell of easy food left behind inside of residences. The smell of poor sanitation, illness, and people cooking food outdoors will also draw in hungry animals and predators. At this point, I would like to end the video. In the next part, I will do a deep analysis of the different animals that you should prepare to deal with, as well as various eye-opening statistics. Then, in part 3, I will do a deep discussion regarding proper weapon selection, training, and defensive tactics to handle dangerous animals. I will discuss in depth the differences between dealing with a dangerous wild animal and a dangerous human. The margin of error for dealing with a dangerous animal is much less, as mentioned before, as animals go all or nothing. I will also discuss how you can defend yourself if you don't have any weapon or only have a knife. I will also discuss ways you can avoid dangerous animals, how to evade them if they are tracking you, and other preventative measures. So I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for supporting my channel. Take care and God bless.